Hey everybody, it's Troy. Hey, listen, the red wave did not happen. It was stopped in its tracks by a blue wall called Gen Z. Gen Z, the youth vote, Gen Z turning out in huge numbers for this election. The second biggest youth turnout in midterm history. Gen Z showing out for Dems in overwhelming numbers, plus 13, plus 26, even at above 90% for Democrats in Michigan from the University of Michigan vote tally. We've seen that today. That Gen Z just really showed out for Democrats, not buying the Republican bullshit. Really, we are owing our freedom and our democracy to the kids today, to the young people, the youth vote, the Gen Z vote, the young millennials really showing up for Democrats and stopping this red wave in its track. When a party loses like this, they usually have some time to kind of do some introspection and think about what went wrong and how they're going to have to course correct for the next time. The Republican Party is not doing that. They're not having any kind of introspection. In fact, they're going in the exact wrong direction, particularly when it comes to Gen Z, when it comes to the youth vote. Check out this video from Ted Cruz.
Look, why did the Democrats do better than expected? Because for 2 years, they've governed as liberals. They've governed as whacked out lefty nut jobs. And you know what that did? That excited their base. That excited a bunch of young voters that came out in massive numbers, because when you actually stand for something, your base gets excited. There's a lesson for Republicans to learn.
Ted Cruz calling young voters lefty nut jobs is just one in a stream of responses that the garbage right had to such an impressive Gen Z show out for Democrats, the Gen Z support for Democrats. Rather than reaching out to Gen Z on a day like today, realizing that they performed so poorly with that demographic, with that age group, Republicans are just shitting all over youth vote. We have youth voters. We have Republicans calling for the voting age to be raised, just saying all kinds of derogatory things. So rather than reaching out to Gen Z today and figuring out how, the Republican Party can perform better with them, Republicans are going the exact opposite direction and just completely trash talking Gen Z, alienating them even further. It's absolutely delicious. I would pay them money to keep doing that. What a brilliant strategy for the long-term longevity of the Republican Party, when you have the majority of your support is in the older generation, that by 2024, boomers, the older generation, which largely supports Republicans, is where the entire base of the Republican support comes from. By 2024, that generation will be the minority when you combine millennials and Gen Z together. The millennial Gen Z demographic is about to surpass the boomers in number of voters. By 2024, millennials and Gen Z will be the largest voting bloc in the country. If young people keep showing up to vote, if this enthusiasm continues and young people continue to show up to vote on these incredibly important elections, Republicans may never win again, because their base is not going to continue to match in number and enthusiasm when compared to the youth vote, which is overwhelmingly Democratic. And the Republicans, rather than trying to course correct and listen to Gen Z, to the issues that they care about, they're taking this exact wrong approach. They aren't listening to the youth. They're not listening to what the youth care about. Youth care about climate change because they want to actually grow up on a livable planet. The youth aren't stupid. They know that in 50 years, by some projections, in 35 years, this planet, there are going to be parts of this planet that are unlivable. They are going to be the ones that have to live on that planet. They know that. They are fierce in their resistance to that climate change issue, to the climate change extinction issue that they're facing. They care overwhelmingly about social justice. They want to see the condition of minorities improved in this country. They want justice for Black and brown people. They want justice for LGBTQ. They want LGBTQ rights. They want trans rights. They want abortion rights. Even amongst the more conservative Gen Z voters, abortion rights is a serious issue for them. They want reproductive freedom. The Dobbs decision infuriated Gen Z voters, and even conservative Gen Z voters did not support that decision. They want reproductive freedom. They want an economy that works for working people. This is a generation that is being completely shackled by debt, by student loan debt. Their housing prices are through the roof. They don't see how the American economy works for them. They don't see that they will ever be able to afford a house, ever be able to have that piece of the American dream. That portion of it looks dead to the younger generation. They're not growing up in a world where home ownership and, working a job and getting ahead, working one job and getting ahead is enough to survive in this country. They're growing up in a society where you need 2-3 jobs to survive. They're growing up in the gig economy where you need side hustles just to survive, not even to get rich, but just to survive. Gen Z is sick of it. They want an economy that works for everyone. Republicans are not listening to Gen Z on these issues and the issues that they care about. They're doubling down on their MAGA fascism. They're doubling down on their racism. They're doubling down on their assault on women's rights and trans rights and LGBTQ rights. These are not things that are going to win over the younger generation, even as they get older. They don't want to be shackled by student loans, tens of thousands of dollars in debt, just because they went to college to get a better job, to get a better life. Now they have to start their careers, they have to start their lives in shackling debt. The $10,000 debt relief that Joe Biden put through is enormously popular among Gen Z, among college-aged youth that vote, that are old enough to vote. That was tremendously popular among that demographic. Republicans are shitting all over that too. Here's Ted Cruz again saying that that's just benefiting slacker baristas, calling Gen Z that are excited about that student debt relief, calling them lazy. These young college students are going to see a little bit of debt relief going into their careers, starting their their professional lives. Ted Cruz and Republicans are calling them lazy and actively pursuing legal paths in multiple red states, in multiple Republican states, actively fighting to stop that student debt relief from happening, from stopping these young people from seeing that a little bit of relief from their shackling student debt, from their crippling student debt that they have to start their careers with. Republicans actively fighting against them. Gen Z sees that. They know who's on their side and who isn't. They know who's fighting for them and who's actively fighting against them. And they're taking that to the voting booth in big ways. So it's just absolutely delicious. If Republicans want to just keep alienating Gen Z voters, they're just going to keep showing up to punch Republicans in the face election after election after election. We saw it in this election. This is not a generation that's going to sit on the sidelines. They're passionate. They know what they stand for. They know what they believe in, and they're going to show up to vote. And as long as Republicans keep alienating this generation and Democrats are the ones that are addressing the issues that they care about, they are going to continue to support Democrats in huge numbers. And Republicans may never win another election if all it takes is for youth to continue to show up to vote. As long as the youth vote continues to show up like they did in this election, Republicans have a serious, serious problem on their hands. For MeidasTouch, this is Troy. Remember, smash that subscribe button to keep supporting MeidasTouch and keep supporting independent media. We just saw how important MeidasTouch was to this election. We see how important independent media is to getting the truth out there, to stop the both sides nonsense. Keep subscribing, keep supporting us. Thank you so much. We'll talk to everybody soon.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs. It wasn't rigged, you're just a loser. At store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.